The City of the Third Eye, a 5,000-year-old mystery. 5,000 years ago, while the pyramids of Egypt were still unbuilt dreams and the ancestors of the Vikings were roaming as simple tribes, a high-tech metropolis flourished in the scorching deserts of eastern Iran. This wasn't a city of warriors or kings, but a city of geniuses, surgeons, and the world's first animators. Today, we call it Shahr-e Sukhteh, the burnt city. But beneath its ash-covered ruins lies a reality so advanced it feels like a glitch in the timeline of human history. This wasn't a crude stone. It was a hemispherical masterpiece made of a lightweight bitumen paste, covered in a thin layer of gold, and engraved with tiny lines representing the capillaries of a human eye. 2 holes were drilled into the sides to thread it into her eye socket with gold wire. This woman, likely a priestess or a high-ranking official, walked the earth with a bionic gold eye 4,800 years ago. It is the oldest ocular prosthesis in human history, proving that medical miracles aren't exclusive to the modern age. Part 2: The birth of the motion picture. If you head to Hollywood today, you'll see the pinnacle of CGI and animation. But the first frame of cinema wasn't shot in California. It was painted on a ceramic bowl in the Iranian desert. Among the ruins, researchers found a simple-looking goblet. Around its exterior are 5 sequential drawings of a Persian desert ibex, a wild goat. At first glance, it looks like a repeating pattern. But when you spin the bowl, the magic happens. The goat stands near a tree. The goat begins to spring. The goat reaches the top of its jump. The goat nibbles a leaf from the tree. The goat lands back on the ground. This is the world's first animation. These ancient Persians understood the persistence of vision, the psychological phenomenon that allows us to perceive a series of static images as continuous motion, 5 millennia before Walt Disney was born. For an American audience raised on the evolution of media, realizing that the concept of a movie started on a piece of pottery in Iran is a profound shift in perspective. The civilization without a war. Perhaps the most shocking fact about Shahr-e Sukhteh, especially for a Western world often fixated on the history of warfare, is what archaeologists didn't find. In most ancient cities, you find armories, heaps of arrowheads, shields, or murals depicting the slaughter of enemies. In Shahr-e Sukhteh, after decades of excavation, they have found 0 weapons. No swords, no maces, no fortified walls designed for siege. The burnt city was a civilization of peace. Their wealth didn't come from conquering neighbors, it came from trade and intellect. They were the master lapidaries of the ancient world. They imported raw lapis lazuli from the mountains of Afghanistan and turquoise from local mines, using micro drills, some thinner than a human hair, to create jewelry that would be sold in markets as far away as the Mediterranean. They were a society of craftsmen, accountants, and doctors. Excavations have revealed human skulls with neat, circular holes. Evidence of brain surgery. Even more incredible? The bone growth around the holes proves the patients survived the procedures. This was a society that valued the preservation of life and the advancement of the mind over the glory of the sword. The final inferno and the message in the sand. Why is it called the burnt city? Because 3 times in its history it was leveled by fire. Each time, the citizens rebuilt it directly on top of the ashes. But around 1800 BC, the river shifted its course. The lush lakeside turned into a salt crust. The fires broke out one last time, and the people simply walked away, leaving their tools, their toys, including the world's oldest backgammon set, and their golden-eyed priestess to be swallowed by the silt. For a modern viewer, the story of Shahr-e Sukhteh is a humbling mirror. It reminds us that progress is not a straight line. We see a people who practiced advanced surgery, understood the mechanics of animation, lived in a peaceful urban utopia, and eventually succumbed not to an enemy, but to the changing climate of their earth. It is a story of Iranian brilliance that predates the Persian Empire. A testament to a culture that has always been obsessed with the stars, the arts, and the mysteries of the human body. The burnt city isn't just a pile of ruins, It is a time capsule of what humanity is capable of when we choose the artisan's drill over the soldier's spear. Would you like me to expand on the specific details of the ancient brain surgery found there? Or perhaps move on to a story about the assassin's castles of the Alamut Valley?